Last time on What's Your Damage?
I'm confronting him on his behavior in an inopportune moment.
What about, when you rub your feet on the carpet and then you touch somebody? Is that or too?
A little bit.
I'm full of fish cakes and I'm ready to kick some ass.
I was 50 half of one.
50 is half of 100.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So 100.
He doesn't have 100 pants.
No, that would be too much pants. Oh, I think if Jorks is gonna lie to me, he's gotta just do it himself. He can't get you to come up with it.
I was a slave in her household, raised as a daughter. Kind of.
I guess that counts.
I've learned the ways of the tambourine.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of What's Your Damage? My name is, I'm going to assume, unless this is your first episode, I'm normally the DM, but tonight I'm the host and the question asker. I'm asking you the questions that you sent in. We have a special episode, like we mentioned, about 5 episodes back or 2 months ago.
Episode 50, now coming to you on episode 53.
Yes, absolutely. We have gotten a number of questions about the show, and we are going to ask our lovely group those questions.
Also, if this is your first episode of What's Your Damage,
go back to episode 1.
Maybe listen to some other ones first, because this one's
Spoilers.
going to be weird.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
also spoilers, yeah.
Sometimes the behind the scene look is the thing that gets you interested in what is in front of the scenes.
Fair.
This is very true.
Okay.
You know what, listener? You do you.
Yeah, it's not a normal way to do it, but I'm not judging.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good on
you
you for
know-
breaking the mold.
You know what? Don't let me tell you how to live your life. That's just a bad course of action all around, really.
Yeah, if it gives you bliss, listen to this.
And on that note,
All right, starting the questions off. First question. I think this, and I'm sorry to the Twitter user that sent this. I lost your name in the haze.
We'll call them Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel asks.
Daniel asks, "What do your characters look like now?"
Ooh.
So whoever wants to take that one first, please.
Okay.
Well, everyone has sweet blue jeans now. That
is true.
That's a big fashion turn, I think.
Yeah. Except my blue jeans are black. Like my heart. Had to.
They are black, but actually, if you really look at them, they are just a dark blue. But they play black.
Elliot has a pair
it's-
of jeans like that, and I've been too afraid to point out to him that they're not black.
Which ones?
The really dark blue ones that look black.
They all look black to me.
I know.
See?
He's going to purge
See, it
those from his
happens.
closet now.
That's unfortunate.
It does happen.
A burning will be happening.
Yes, I mean I do have a fireplace for a reason. It's to burn clothes, apparently.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean that's why I moved into this place. So I was like, "Do you have a fireplace for burning clothes?" And they're like, "Well, that's a weird question." I was like, "Just answer it."
Do you want my rent money or not?
I was all excited about my fireplace for the same reason. Turns out it's a gas fireplace.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
So okay, what
So
are
now
your
I
clothes?
burn all my clothes in the yard.
So besides your sweet ass blue jeans, what do you guys look like? How do your characters look?
I think Okad is pretty much the same as I always envisioned her. Like she's a woman of color. She's got very long, very dark, very like sort of thick, bushy hair that, of course, she always wears up to cover her horns, which sort of curve like from her temples back close around her ears. She's about average height, average weight, like not nothing special there. She's, I don't think, particularly stunning or anything. She's just a normal, human-looking woman.
And the fun thing is, Sadie actually she came up with a pattern on Scarfsea. I don't know the name.
Well, I Knitty? Are you talking about knitty?
Because
Yes.
you have because Sadie actually developed a scarf, and I actually have one of them that I think fits very well for like how Zhao's sort of scarf and by extension Okat's scarf kind of looks.
Yeah. Well, like the scarf.
Shawl.
I mean, not that anyone can see this except the people in the room with me, but this I've designed a scarf that I'm wearing right now that I envisioned as based on Zhao's shawl. And then the scarf I gave to you, I was envisioning as Okat's, but that's actually from somebody else's pattern. I did not write that one myself.
Yeah, no, it's very cool and very colorful. So she has that and some.
And I'm sure that my scarf is in the mail somewhere. Arrive at any time.
You say that like it's a joke, but now that you've said it, yes.
I don't need a scarf down here. It's too hot.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Parker, how does Gus look?
Well, he's a little shorter than Burke.
That's true. That's canon.
I envision he has like his hair in the exact same type of braid as like his beard, which is just like a very generic, easy, straightforward braid. And I imagine it comes to like the exact same length in front and back.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little plump.
that
like,
totally fits with my headcanon of Gus.
He's got a little bit of tone under that plump.
There's muscle mass there.
Yeah. He's got abs, they're just hiding.
Yeah, there's a protective barrier around his abs.
Why have a six-pack when you could have a keg?
Exactly.
And
then he is a little younger by dwarf standards, so he's got a more youthful look as far as complexion and stuff.
Sweet. Okay. Jorix, how does fucking Chris? How does Jorix look?
He looks exactly like Chris, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Crazy eyes.
with crazy eyes. Yeah, pretty much from like baseline appearances, just like an average, young adult looking guy. Priestley, so he's got the robes, obviously. So he doesn't flaunt the blue jeans. They're undercover.
So is the codpiece.
Yes, yeah. There's you gotta like pay attention to note, but if you know it's there, I mean, it's gonna be there.
If you know to look for it.
Exactly. Which everyone in this party loves to do.
It's kind of my favorite Jorix detail, really.
It's pretty great. Yeah, has the crazy eyes. So one of them is in the pattern of the sun, the other is in the pattern of the moon, whatever current lunar phase it is. That's what it matches. That's why he normally wears some shades to sort of not have everyone he meets just sort of freak out about that.
What? I actually have to ask this because I feel like when we did our 0th episode that we didn't record, the sunglasses came up as kind of a joke. Was it originally a joke that became canon, or was that always part of the character design for you?
It's hard to remember. I don't remember exactly. I definitely think I came up with it after the fact when someone said crazy. Like, oh no, I've got sunglasses on. And then because if you were to think about it, like there's no way you just walk around like that.
Right. People would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So definitely more of like, oops, I forgot about that detail. And then cover my ass after the fact.
Nice.
And then Ryan, how does Burke look?
Oh, I imagine like younger Kurt Russell, like It. Like McCreevy and It, like with Kurt Russell with a big beard, but dwarf size.
So perfect.
Okay.
Doesn't that make sense? Kind of.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, that's spot on.
Got blue jeans now. Do I have any other piece of significant clothing? I have that hat that makes me slightly smarter and think too much.
And existential.
Yeah,
the existential crisis
and
hat.
You have the
that's sort of like
pants.
it's like a slouchy hat.
Yeah.
And
you've got the
chef
pants, like the chef pants that Dravine made for you with like a pattern of fish on them that are, I think, cooking
I do
other
have
fish.
magical chef pants.
Yes.
So I have a lot more pants than I used to have.
Yeah, that's been a
A
real
lot more pants.
character arc
Yeah.
for you.
Moving on up.
I know. Well, he's changing. He's growing. He's got a wardrobe now. Yeah, he still carries that. My trout hammer, which is a war hammer shaped like a trout fish.
Yeah.
And yeah. What didn't you get? Did I get a shield? Did I get a new shield? Parker, did you get?
Oh yeah,
Give me your shield.
at the end of the downtime, I gave you the one we got at the fantasy place. It's just a mirror shield again, but it has like a magical charming effect.
Oh, it's better than mine. So I got a new shield.
Yeah, it's basically just a magic version of the one you had.
So
Because part of why Gus got it is because Oni had convinced him that mirror shields were really popular with dwarves.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's true.
actually, that's a good segue.
Yeah, so McCreevy and it, slouchy hat that I forget that I gotta take off sometime. I don't have cool shades, but I kind of wish that I did. That I think about it.
New quest.
Yep.
One of these days.
Actually, that's a good segue into another question. This one's from on Twitter from Dungeons and Blaggards. They are a fellow podcast, and their question is from their DM, Robulon.
Roby one?
Robbie Run.
It says, "What is your favorite homebrew or unique weapon from your campaign?"
Ooh.
Oh man, that mirror thing that I grabbed stuff through.
Yeah.
That was really good.
The mirror of far reaching. I think that I've used that.
Yeah.
Way beyond probably. I don't know. Maybe that was what it was intended for. I feel like I've stretched the possibilities on that one.
I also feel that. But it's fun.
It's
fun.
I definitely, that's one of my favorite items. And I think I love my bee pipe, honestly.
You really do.
It's so silly. And the lariat is cool too. I like the lariat made of stars. But and the sad nads. My sister Kelsey has written up a bunch of these items and she's so goddamn clever. So she wrote up the sad nads.
Yeah, she has been a real fucking all-star. There are two people who aren't directly involved with the podcast who have been so fucking instrumental, and that's Kelsey, Sadie's sister, and also Stephanie Campbell. Like, I've bounced so many goddamned ideas off the two of them. And they're like, you should make that better. I was like, you're right, I should make that better. Thank you. And
Does Jorx's codpiece do anything? Or is that just
Believe it or not, it's not just an aesthetic choice.
It puts on a hell of a light show.
I mean, it also does that. Totally blows his cover.
What does it do? What are its properties again? Just so I can hear them.
Yes. So basically, it allows me once per day to cast any spell I want that I have the power, like a level 4 spell. I could cast any level 4 spell.
Do you have to thrust a little bit? Did we decide that?
I mean, do I have to? No. Does it help the spell? Maybe.
There might be a somatic component.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
is it sort of like it's like Harry Potter where you have to do the wand movement, right?
Yeah, if you don't get the motion
you gotta
exactly
give a little
right.
Flick.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta give a little flick at the end.
If you flick it more than twice, you're playing with yourself.
That's true. That is true.
I think
Jorix, stop!
I'm trying to cast here.
I'm practicing.
I think we did decide.
We know what you're doing.
I think we did decide canonically that all spells cast with the codpiece emanate from the codpiece.
Yes, we have regrettably decided that.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean regrettably.
No, you don't have to live with it.
It's very funny.
Yes, one of my favorite items from a different campaign. We got I don't know the official name, Elliot, but it's the bow of the Edo tribe.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just the bow of the Edo tribe?
Yes. It's the bow of ancestors.
Bow of ancestors. Basically, the thing that makes it, for me, isn't the actual effect. Which the effect is great. The effect is if the enemy that you're attacking is an enemy of the Edo tribe, you get some bonus. I forget if it's advantage or like a plus, but you get some bonus for
It's
that.
an advantage, yeah, always.
But the best thing about the item is in our campaign, what it evolved down to is at the start of every fight, the guy who had the bow would say, "Hey, Elliot, is this guy an enemy of the Edo tribe?" And just seeing Elliot's eyes rolling was great. Never got old.
Yep, it never got old for the players. You're certainly right about that. No, it was a fun time.
And shortly after that, the campaign ended.
Yeah.
Weird.
To be fair, you guys created a giant black hole that killed everything.
Besides, you're shifting the subject here, Elliot.
How about you, Parker?
I'm going to have to go with Ryan's mirror, but if I were to pick one that I've used, I had fun with the penalty box.
Oh my god, the penalty box. I forgot about that.
That was actually one of the best moments ever. Like I still think about that like just randomly. Like when I see a spider, I'm like, ugh. Like I just imagine like what that guard went through in his
Oh
last
my god, I
moments.
forgot about that moment.
That was incredible.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I blacked
too.
it out.
That was an amazing piece of role playing by you, Parker. Really.
Yeah, it was great, dude. That was just one of the best. Like, and what a send off. And actually, speaking of that, that goes into a very good question from David Ellerby or Ellerby. That's either or.
Ellerby, like Linda Ellerby from the Nickelodeon News.
Oh yeah.
Remember Linda Ellerby?
Yeah. And the
Could
question,
be. I don't know.
the question is very prosaic. It says, "What happened to Sylvester?"
Nobody knows.
That is what happened, right? No, he ran off, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's the spider. No, that's
No.
Peter. Wait,
Peter was the spider. Sylvester, and
Sylvester was the guy.
There was another spider. What was the other spider's name?
I can't remember.
Oh,
Marcus.
Marcus.
Marcus,
I knew it started with
okay.
an M. I was going to say
That's
Miguel.
just a
but that
regular
wasn't right.
spider.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that actually happened in the Von Terre arc, and
Like right at the beginning too.
yeah, Parker, what made you want to switch out Sylvester for Burke? No, sorry, Gustus.
A couple things. First, he wasn't the most fun to roleplay, especially in a narrative setting like a podcast. And also, he was not a team player, which that's not fun either.
No.
And he didn't really care about much, so it's like, well, how are you going to motivate him? And it's like, Gus will care about a rock that you put in front of him if you tell him to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pair bonds really quickly.
You did pull a 180 on that one.
I am very glad that Gus joined the team. He makes a great addition.
Yeah,
I mean, I really enjoyed Sylvester and how like clever and deadpan he was, but yeah, Gus is a great fucking character.
Yeah, and we played together, those two, Burke and Gus, in another campaign. So
Nice.
I already knew it was going to be fun to do that. More.
Yeah. Like, I definitely enjoyed it. I think I was reluctant to use him again because, like, I already had, like, that story going with him and whatnot and thought I might cross my wires a bit, but fortunately that group died out anyway, so...
yep.
Yeah.
As they do.
Actually, here's another question, and this question is from Aaron Scott from Australia.
Ooh,
I'm not going to do an Australian accent because
No.
that would just be...
that would be insulting, but thank you
Insulting.
for listening from Australia.
No, you can do other white people accents.
It's,
Right?
just
That's
because it's
still
not
okay.
racist doesn't mean it's wrong. It's not wrong.
Well,
and it
I
goes...
don't know. We'll see. Just kidding.
And the question is, how'd you all meet? Actually, if you
Oh,
don't
boy.
mind, everybody here save one, Chris,
Aw.
is from the Seattle stand-up community. Like we all met that way. Like I think the first one of this group that I met was actually Parker, And I met Parker. I didn't meet him. I watched him on stage because he went down to Olympia.
You don't meet Parker. Parker meets you.
Yeah, well, and he went down to Olympia to perform. It was a Seattle invasion of Olympia comedy scene, of the Olympia comedy scene. And I was like, fucking look at these fucking big city jackasses. And then Parker went on. I was like, this dude's wearing all black. I wear all black in Olympia. And then Parker fucking killed it. He was so goddamn funny. And I'll never forget this joke that Parker had, which was he was talking about how he likes really frou-frou drinks, really frou-frou coffee drinks. And it's a very weird disparity having, liking like unicorn, a unicorn frappuccino with the voice of Satan.
I will say my tastes have evolved since then. Just
Sure.
disclosure for the listeners.
But like
What are you drinking now?
Well, for like coffee, I
Yeah.
try not to drink coffee, but I'll just add like honey if I do.
Oh.
But like
Just black with honey.
Coffee? Okay, that's
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, because I don't like dairy or sugar, so.
But it was seeing that, and then I met Sadie.
I like dairy.
And then I met Sadie. Sadie actually was when I first moved to Seattle. When I did a taping, at the Pocket Theater.
Oh, that's right.
Sadie was actually the person that introduced me for the first time. She was the first person to ever introduce me to a Seattle stage. And she goes, "This next comedian's very funny. You're gonna love him. Put your hands together for Elliot Rose." And I was like, "You don't know me from Adam, and that's just your default." That's what you say to everybody, because we all, if you do stand up, and you're doing the emceeing, you have a default phrase for people you don't know.
Yeah, if you're hosting, you can't just be like, I don't know this next fucking guy. I don't know if you're going to like him. I already don't.
Right.
That's bad hosting.
Yeah. And then I met Ryan through Parker. You had run the mic at, I always forget the name, I'm sorry. But he was just very jovial, very fun. And then Parker asked if he could join the Wednesday group, and I said yes, of course. And he was a fucking smash riot.
Are you talking about Scratch?
Scratch, yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
And then Chris and I met when I put out an ad on Reddit asking
Yes.
for people to come join a Thursday group, and he was a brave soul that said, "I'd like to try it." And I try to think of it from his point of view, because he shows up to this house.
Oh yeah, and this is the first time I had ever done anything like this. I had never touched D&D or any
Oh,
role playing game before
really?
this. Yeah, and I
Oh,
just
wow.
decided, because it was shortly either before or after my birthday, and around those times of year, you're like, I
I
want
should
some change in my life.
Try new things.
Exactly. And I'd always watch other podcasts and stuff of role playing games. Like, oh, that looks fun. I want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to respond to Elliot's ad.
And then he comes over, and I have to put I invited everybody to my house, and I just can imagine him showing up, and then all of a sudden this severe looking man dressed in all black emerges, and he's just like,
Good
"Oh,
evening, sir. Do come in.
the others are waiting."
We are about to begin the ritual.
Yeah, but he was really cool about it, and he's one of my favorite people to play with, and he's just a really solid guy. So that's how I met everybody, and then just collating everybody.
I don't know. I feel like the first time you show up to Elliot's house, and you're like, "What is this house where I'm gonna play this game with adults?" And I think you go in and you see Elliot, and you're like, "Yeah, that's about right." This is all the windows are all kind of blacked out, and there's
I mean, the scary thing is where Elliot positions
Coffee
himself
and-
at the table is he's blocking the door for escape.
I really am. It's all intentional. It's always intentional.
And Chris has been a hostage ever since.
Yeah, I haven't left this house in years.
My favorite hostage. But I will say, the reason that when Sadie and I were trying to compile a play group for WYD, I was trying to figure out who, and that's part of what doing the D&D groups where it was trying to cast a wider net so that we could have a good group. And I remember Chris in the Thursday group, those players, they're great players. They're also very it's corralling cats. It's very difficult for me sometimes. But Chris is the one person who will do narrative. He'll stick with narrative. God bless him. And I was like, need a narrative person. Okay, Chris is in. And then I was like, Parker's very funny. And then Ryan showed up, and I played with Ryan a little bit. And I'll never forget this moment with Ryan, which is Ryan on the Wednesday group. He was taken into this place, and he was like given medical treatment, and he was brainwashed. And
Wait, are we talking about Ryan or his character?
Burke.
Okay.
Burke was brainwashed, and then the character goes, "Would you like a lollipop?" And Burke goes, "What flavor?" And the character goes, "Cherry." And Burke's like, "Oh, I hate cherry." And then the character takes it back, waits a minute, and then offers it again and goes like, "Would you like a lollipop?" "What flavor is it?" "Cherry." "I love cherry." And he just goes into the bit, like just fully like loves cherry so much in a way that only Ryan can. And like when he
it's like I had to do the opposite, or something like that.
Yeah.
You were like charmed, so you were just going with whatever they wanted you to go with.
Okay, yeah.
And then like when he gets
I love cherries.
and then when he gets my favorite thing is like when the charm spell gets broken, the first thing that he says is, "Ew, I hate cherry."
Who gave me this cherry lollipop? I hate cherries.
And I was like, well, he has to be in.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's too perfect. I need those two together.
Well, I think that's one thing that I consistently love about your role playing, Ryan, is just like you commit to the bit. Like it's kind of a cliche, but like you just jump in with both feet and you're all in, and like this whole world exists in your head. And I don't know, now I feel self-conscious.
No, I think
no, it's fun. It's fun to do.
Like that. Can I say this? Like one of my very favorite things, especially everybody does it, but I think like Parker and Ryan really hit it. Is like when I do a cutaway to like, because you guys love to split up. It's love it so much. Hey, there's one room here. Well, we're gonna go to 4 different corners, have 4 different adventures. I'm like, great, sweet, hype. And so I'll do the cutaways, and like I have to give credit to Parker and Ryan, and everybody does it, but like one of the best bits ever was a cut back to Parker and Chris. And Parker always picks up like mid-conversation. Like they've been having a conversation and doing things the entire time that we haven't seen them. And when the camera focuses on them, it's like, oh yeah, we're in media res.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best. I always love how you guys do that.
Yeah, Parker has a very cinematic sensibility when it comes to D&D storytelling.
Yeah, he's very good. And that actually leads to another question.
Well.
This one's from the aforementioned Stephanie Elizabeth. And she goes, when have you felt the most successful as a role player? Least successful. I'll give you guys some breathing room on this one. I can tell you when I feel like the most successful is like whenever I play Evangeline. I think I'm always good at that one. I think I think I kind of like lose the plot when I have multiple women because my woman voice is always the same minus Evangeline. And Dravine's like a off-brand Evangeline. That's what her voice is, right?
She's like a Kroger Evangeline.
Yeah. Family value Evangeline. But I feel like I always hit Evangeline and Farstand really well. I'm least successful when you guys have me have a conversation with myself.
But those are the best moments.
I'm just like,
like when I introduced Zhao to Drifter, and it's just like, go.
and it's like,
ready to go.
yeah, and it's just like, okay.
I think. Yeah, I feel like I'm the most successful at role playing when I'm bouncing off of the other players in the group, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if I'm leading the action or leading the story, then I kind of run out of steam fairly quickly or like lose momentum. But goddamn, am I good at reacting?
Very true.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's very true.
And usually when I end up taking the initiative, it's because I'm going to stab something.
For sure. 100 out of 100.
Yep.
And that tends to be less than successful.
Well, you never know until you stab it.
Yeah.
This is the scientific method. Just because it doesn't work once doesn't mean you never do it again.
Right,
You have to,
right.
Yeah.
You miss 100% of the
Yeah,
shots
it's
you don't stab.
50-50.
You know?
Yeah. Either it'll be good or it'll be bad. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Every time.
That's just math.
Yeah, I agree. Like my favorite stuff is when like Gus and Burke are like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern out, just like trying to figure out what the word tree means or something to them that day, or like you're just like, what are you doing? And they're like, they're talking to the tree. I think I don't know what they're doing with the tree.
But I think some of my favorite,
like, just little word, the anachronistic, just pretending to not know what a word means for like 5 minutes. That's the most fun, I think.
Yeah, I think
it's not.
Some of my favorite moments have come out of like Gus being stuck on a conversation that was had like 2 scenes ago. Like I put a clip from one of those in I think the second most recent last season's intro bits, where it was like Jorix, don't you have a spell where you can tell what things are? And we were trying to figure out the treasure chest. We're like, oh, gee, that's a great idea. Good job, Gus. Way to go. And he goes, what's this stick?
Yeah, that was definitely a great moment.
Yeah.
Well, we hadn't figured it out yet. So
well, exactly. Like, you guys have a totally different focus sometimes than the rest of the group, and it's glorious.
How about you,
Well,
Chris?
yeah.
So, I'll go negative first. For like least successful, I don't think I do it as much anymore, and I try to catch myself at any time I do. But whenever you're like, and this is just in general playing role-playing games, when like you make a decision that like Chris would make, and not a decision that the character would make, and just whenever you make a decision like that, it feels good in the moment because you did the right thing. But then like either the next session or like even like when you're driving home after you're done, you just like, you know. It's just not how it would have happened, you know? And if by not allowing yourself to like make a mistake in character, you're sort of losing opportunities for, you know, growth and narrative. So.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point. Like, you can't win D&D. When you start trying to win D&D, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. It's definitely a tricky thing to like. You have to keep reminding yourself to do, unless like you're perfectly good at staying in character all the time. And then I guess for like a strength, I guess I would say like I think I'm pretty decent at like I think Ellie put it this way, like a glue guy. Like I try to keep everyone somewhat on pace without being too much of a stick in the mud. No, and I'm definitely playing like a stick in the mud character, but
I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but like whenever there's like an important narrative beat, I'm always trying to float it to Chris. Like there was the time like outside the Queen's Keep where I'm just like, okay, need to get this note to somebody. Those two are dealing with a barrel. Can't send it to those two.
Yeah.
All right.
It's from Evangeline, so
Okat's
not
going
a
to be
good choice.
irrational. Okat's going to be justifiably angry and just burn the note. So we're just going to waft this over to Jorix. Let the winds bring it to him. He'll read it at least.
what's this paper just hit me in the face? What the hell?
I know, yeah. So I always try to float narrative at him.
Yeah. That happens in like families too, where it's like the one sibling who it's like, you have to call everyone and tell them what we're doing for Easter.
Yep.
How about you?
Why is it me? Because I'm not talking. I'm not talking to Steve right now, and
Yeah, you're the responsible one.
How about you, Parker?
you're the only one that talks to your brother.
I'd say the worst for me is when I get too hung up on the game mechanic side of it and be like, oh, what am I good at, rather than what would Gus do, which I especially feel like in combat, like he's a bit smarter than he is anywhere else. For strengths, I'd say I have the most fun when like Gus has like breakthroughs.
Oh my god, yes.
The whole moment with the Queen just lighting up the capital city, and then Gus having
my
just
God.
like an existential breakdown. I think that's
Yeah,
like the
that
peak
was
of this
super
campaign.
Yeah,
fun.
that was great.
That was incredible.
Like a season capper.
Yeah.
It was-
That
for sure.
And the first time he understood like a Mephilemorph.
Yes.
Those were two of my favorite moments to play.
Yeah.
What was and then like Ryan built world really quickly with Gus on that moment. He's like, I can't light up a city or whatever he says. And then like, who told you that you could be king? And
Oh my
then,
god.
Rondel or whatever. Rondel, he tells that to everybody. You took him seriously?
Yeah, that was
That's
amazing.
another thing I super enjoy, just making up some random fantasy name on the spot.
Well,
Oh.
and Parker has like the best fantasy name ever, which is I always forget it because I always laugh too much. It's Wiggles Wagglebottom.
It's Wobbles Waggletop, but that one I can't take credit for because that's from Xanathars.
That's the greatest name though. Just Wobbles Wagglebottom.
They had first and last names, and I thought that was a funny combination, but I did not invent those names.
Wow.
No, you still crafted it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put the puzzle together.
Okay, this might be a good one to parry off of this. Who is your favorite NPC and why? And that's from Stephanie Elizabeth again.
Well, I know my answer, but I want to let everyone else go first. Or I want to make everyone else
Who's
go
that?
first.
Who's that guy we like? He smells good.
Castile.
Steel.
Yeah.
Castile is the good scent. Yeah.
He's fun. I just picture him being very handsome.
Me too. Yeah.
And it smells good, and you just kind of want to like
Hell of
be
a
around him.
hell of a kisser too. Not that he has much opportunity to, since he's a priest. But he,
Yeah, he's like withholding. Yeah. Trying to think of who else.
I guess I can.
I like that guy that sold us the blue jeans. He was like a sort of
Lifter,
like a country
Lifter,
western.
yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I do like Lifter a lot, and I love his voice.
Yeah.
Like the voice you do for Lifter is so great.
Yeah, just the Texan
Yeah,
drawl.
Yeah, is it a little? Can we hear it a little bit? What's
Sure.
Give us a little Lifter, Elliot.
Lifter. Well, I do appreciate you all wanting
yeah,
I do appreciate you all wanting to hear
it's
from
kind of
Lift.
it's like you doing a little Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's
that's it.
totally
like,
Sam Elliott.
but like not too much.
Yeah, it's like Droopy Dog plus Sam Elliott is how I imagine
Droopy
it.
dog, yeah, it's like a little droopy dog.
Now I'm envisioning Sam Elliott's face and mustache on a mantis. And somehow it's not creepy because he has a cowboy
Yeah.
hat on, so it's fine.
Cowboy hats forgive a lot
Yeah,
of things.
it's like a mantis, but he has a big mustache. That's what I was picturing.
Yes.
Yeah. Big hat, big mustache, blue jeans,
8 legs.
mantis.
All bounty hunter.
Who's that guy from Doctor Strangelove, and he rides the bomb down?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Oh crap.
That actor.
Colonel.
He kind of talks like that a little bit. I feel like that's a little in there a little bit. I can't think of his name, and I don't want to look it up. It'll come to me.
So I'll take this for like one of the characters that I get to play. My favorite characters. I actually really enjoy Zhao. I enjoy Zhao. Far Stand is always a lot of fun to just play because he's like most of the time when we play this game, I'm kind of like the straight man, so I'm just like, all right, you guys, okay. Like, I get to just like play along with the jokes, like feed into the jokes. But it's the one time that I get to turn things around on you, where I get to be just you guys are on the defensive.
That poor cabbage vendor.
Yeah. Thank you, Avatar. And Evangeline. I really enjoy Evangeline. She is so much fun to play. And it's great to see like how much Sadie hates her, how much Ryan is afraid of her. And like it's fun to see like your reactions to her. Parker or Chris?
Mine were covered by others.
Oh, who's yours?
I'm gonna have to second Lifter, and then Cassie will probably a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, I was gonna go on something different.
No, it's fun to have. It's fun. Like I didn't realize that Lifter would be so well liked.
I don't know. It's just something different.
Yeah.
He's like a Western guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always great.
He
when you
added
have...
he added a new voice to the world.
Yeah.
There's now 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like now 4 voices.
That's always a
It's
huge
the fourth
plus.
voice. Is the new voice.
And then there's
I
just
can't wait to see what other characters will also have.
stay tuned. There's also just always having like the great moment of having an NPC who's this like the reluctant hero, and I think that's what Lifter fills really well because like I don't really I'm just I'm a merc. No.
Well, like, and this is like one of my favorite things. Like the way that Farstand came into being was he was seen in Wednesday Group. I don't know if you guys remember this, and then he was also seen in Thursday Group.
Yes.
And Thursday Group just took a real shine to this mouthy little gnome, and they kept on hyping him up time after time after time.
Well, it's because like his entrance just set the bar so incredibly high.
What was his entrance?
So the entrance was I forget why we were going there, but typical fantasy thing, you go to a bar and one of our characters was, this big dwarf with, this insane constitution. I'm going to drink you under the table kind of guy. We had a bag of holding filled with beer, if that sets a tone. And basically in this bar, it was pretty typical, except there was one gnome, which we hadn't seen any gnomes before. Like, oh, this is cool. But he's talking a lot of shit, and he's like saying these things that he shouldn't know. And we're like, shut up, what the hell? So then our big beefy dwarf boy goes, I'm gonna beat you in a drinking contest. So I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. They both roll off, constitution roll. The first one, I think Farstan got a nat 20 or something like that. And this dwarf lost to a gnome. It's like, goddamn, no. We're round 2, let's do it. And then Elliot rolled another natural 20 on it.
Oh my god.
And from that moment on, it's like, this character, he's a god. There's no other explanation for it. And
That's how Farstan became a god?
that's how Farstan became a god.
Oh my
From then on,
God.
anytime he came into existence, even though Elliot would downplay it as much as possible, we would still hype it up. Like, oh my god, this guy. Meanwhile, the dwarf is still super salty about it and will refuse to admit this ever happened.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. It's nice to know Okat's not the only one that has like a strong aversion to Farstan.
Yeah. Well, I guess he doesn't hate him. He just will refuse to admit he lost in a drinking contest.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Okat's just annoyed because like the very first time she met him, he was basically like, I know you're a tiefling. And she's like,
Yeah.
shut up.
That's exactly what happened to us.
Yeah.
Asshole.
It's like, you are saying a lot of things out loud that I don't want anyone to know.
I think one of my favorite traits of his, besides just the general not giving a fuck, is whenever he exits stage left, normally through a portal of some kind that you can't follow him through, he'll start saying something super crucial and important and then cut off right before he actually tells you anything.
Yeah, that's a great character trait.
It's so infuriating, but I respect it.
Yeah.
And then Sadie?
Hina Harap.
Oh, yeah.
I miss Hina Harap.
Yeah, the giant, the augur
yeah.
giant.
Yeah.
She was, yeah.
I want her to come back. I don't want her to be dead.
Man, that was one of my favorite arcs. Was just the time arc.
And just the way you played her was fantastic.
It was a very slow, right? It was very
Very like
deliberate.
slow and pensive.
yeah. No, Hina was one of my favorites, and actually Sadie, for one of the stories that I wrote for the website, Sadie came up with this wonderful rhyme for Hina. I'll try to pull that up later, but okay, that's enough good and propers for me. Okay, here's a fun question.
Oh, I also love Finch and Taryn.
Oh, I
yeah.
forgot about Fitch and Taryn. Yeah, no, they're great.
There are a lot of really excellent NPCs in this world.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's really kind of you to say.
Yeah. Shout out to Fire Kid. Where
Oh my god. He's out there somewhere,
I
staring at a fire.
I don't know what he's doing.
I haven't forgotten.
He
about
never
him.
did much, but he's.
He'll make an appearance.
He lives on in our hearts.
Okay, this one is from Jesse Spalding. And it says, if you could play any other character in your party,
Ooh.
who would you play and why?
Ooh.
So this is fun. You guys get to pick.
You go first, Elliot.
Who would I
If
play?
you could be a PC Elliot
Yeah.
out of the four of us, who would you steal?
Who would I play?
Who's your
Yes.
favorite?
I would-
I mean, who would you play?
No,
Who's your favorite?
No, it's
There are no
it's-
wrong answers unless you don't pick my character.
No, like honestly, like I mean, and Parker's DM'd for me in this group, and so is Chris DM. You know, like I have a very particular play style, you know that, and like that's where like I'm like I think my characters tend to be like very very independent, and just do their own thing regardless of like what needs to happen narrative wise. Like I don't try to destroy the narrative. I'm just like, but he's not interested in that right now. He wants to do this thing, and so like I think like the character that I would most like I'm not as funny as Ryan, and I can't like play clever dumb like Gus or like Parker. I think. See, since I'm in this chair, I keep referring to you as your characters.
Yeah, I struggled to remember Ryan's name earlier. I was going to call him Burke.
And like,
No.
I know.
and although like
I'm disappearing. I can see right through my hand right now, just like Back to the Future.
Oh no!
Don't kiss your mom.
Too late.
I think I would play. I think I would actually play Jorix, but I wouldn't play Jorix the way that Chris plays Jorix. My Jorix would actually be Castile, like just a younger Castile, where he's like reckless and like he'll help because he has to and he wants to, but he doesn't. I don't think Castile Jorix would have as much would be as responsible as Jorix. You know, he would run into danger because he's dumb. You know.
Fair.
Who would you guys play?
I would be. You go, please, sir.
I'd probably just play Burke because getting into rants can be fun. I also don't have the note-taking abilities to be a effective Jorix.
It is a bit more effort.
Yeah, this is true.
And I'm not angry enough to be okay.
Also fair.
Although I would want her sweet daggers. God, I love those.
Yeah, I'm real proud of those daggers.
Things. Yeah.
So Ryan, what about you?
I could be mean, like I like Okad.
I can be mean.
I think that in my head, Okad is meaner than you play Okad.
No, that
I
makes
think
sense.
Burke is always almost like gaslighting, like she's really mean, but you're like not really. And I yeah, sometimes I don't know where it comes from, but I think it's funny to like make you out. I don't know, to be grumpy or something. You're not like totally. It's but I think I like that.
Yeah.
I like imbuing that character with that. So like I don't know.
No, it's really fun when we bicker. I really enjoy that, honestly.
Yeah. So like,
You're like, no, I don't like that at all.
No, I do it. I do it on purpose. I know it is. I'm not really mad. I'm just I'm playing. It's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, when you were pretending to be her like at the volunteer thing, that was
so great.
Great.
Yeah, well, I can't. Yeah, what was it? I can't remember.
It was there was like we were trying to go undercover. We had basically a polyjuice potion, I think, from Castile, so that one of us
But
could.
I still have that.
Oh
Yeah,
my god! Why did I remind you?
As if he
I
forgot.
have it written on the character sheet. I can't forget. It's there.
Oh, that's
Unless I lose that character sheet, and then Parker will remember.
this is true.
If I
That's going to be an epic moment someday.
Yeah. I mean, what like once every couple months or so, Ryan, you say, should I use the potion now? No, not now. I'll save it.
No, the time I'll know when the time. Like it will be perfect. Yeah.
I do
I'm
have to
just
say,
waiting.
I thoroughly enjoyed your OCOD impression.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did, but I'm sure it was great.
Well, you basically just played out everything that you just said about OCOD just now.
Yeah, and like I think you method acted with her, so you would like be her mirror.
Yes.
That was great.
I can't
Just
tell if he's
stab
laughing
something.
or crying.
I stab this curtain.
Oh, I'm so grumpy.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, how about you?
I care about my missing sister.
Savage.
Oh, that's your motivation.
Yeah, for me it's tricky because I think like I found the type of character I like playing a lot, and I found the type of character I like playing has two key traits. One is they have a generally kind soul at some level. I've tried playing a mean character before, and
Gull.
yeah, where my character was just more or less mortal enemies with Elliot's character for no particular reason. And
Yeah.
I couldn't keep it like over the weeks. Like I definitely I had to like shirk some of that just because like it hurt my soul to be a mean character.
Yeah, and I think like my character was named Persims. Persims owns.
God.
And it's the best fruit. And like I think his introduction, Gull's introduction to Persims was I think he shot Persims with an arrow.
Oh, nice.
A few, I think.
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly.
Because like I think Persims was selling flowers, and then that's actually like one of my favorite things, which is Parker called Persims a flower narc. Like I just always think of that.
Well, yeah, that's because he. Oh no, flower narc, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
flower narc.
Because I played in the campaign. I played a rogue smuggler.
We had two rogues.
Whose business dealings
nice.
was really moving the plot along, I think. And yeah, and then Gull kept trying to figure out if I was cheating people out of their share of the money all the time.
I mean, which you were.
Which the
in
answer
fairness,
was
but-
yes. Of course it was. But I would get annoyed. I was like, you say, well, how much money did you get paid? And I was like, shut up. It's like actually getting kind of mad. Not really, but like in an acting kind of way.
Yeah.
Why are you looking in my wallet? But that was fun though.
Yeah.
I missed the.
But yeah, so that was
I missed those guys.
yeah. But yeah, that's character trait one is I have a very difficult time playing against being a nice person. It's hard for me
So no OCOP for you.
so no OCA for me. And then the second thing is like my favorite part about these types of games is just like the story. So I like being able to have an active part in it a lot. So for that I think it'd be tougher for me to play like a Burke. I think I could play Gus, but I think I can only do it for like a limited amount of time.
Well, that is something that Gus. That's something that Parker really does well. Is like he will, in a roundabout way, tie back into the main story when he's off in his weird.
So perfect.
When Gus and Burke are off on their weird adventures about trees and whatnot, like somehow Parker will figure out a way to like tie it back. He'll bring it back a little bit to the main narrative, which is always like really appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, part of it's just like with Gus not letting things go.
Yeah, I think he paid Lifter to find Namla, right? That was his.
Yeah.
Like when he met him, he was like, "Can you?"
Well,
find
he's
him?"
got that quest log and he's got no check marks on it.
You have one now. You found
That one was getting green.
And who would you play, Sadie?
Oh God, it's hard to say because I feel like OCOD is really different from I mean, all of these characters are really different from each other, right? So I don't know, like I feel like I could do a parody Goody Two Shoes version of Jorix.
I could see that. You'd be aggressively nice.
And I feel like if we played together for a long enough time, I could maybe do a passable Burke impression. I think it would be between those two, but I think you guys are a better Jorix and a better Burke than I could ever be.
Well, I will say that about this group is like I think I'm a very fortunate DM because I think like finding a good party is very difficult to do, and luckily enough we have a wonderful party. You know, each of you are really good at the characters that you have chosen to play, and I think in a lot of ways I have the simplest task, which is just like set up obstacles, see how they navigate it, respond to the things. Respond to the obstacles that they complete and the obstacles that they can make for themselves. In fact, like I think this group could continue if like there was a different DM. And I've actually thought about like who would I choose to like take over for me? And like I do think there's a better DM than me that I've played with, and I would want him to do because I think he could do a great job with this group.
Oh man.
But yeah, I've always thought like this is a great group, and like I think like although I'm like kind of the world and its problems, like it's like you can get a new world, like it'd be easy.
Yes, but no. I think honestly, I have a hard time envisioning swapping out anyone around this table, like the metaphorical table, obviously, but like it would not. This show wouldn't be the same if we didn't have a Gus or a Jorix or a Burke or a world and its problems the way that it currently is. You know, like you're far from replaceable.
No, I didn't say like replaceable, but I think like in this group, like I've always like put a premium on like a good player group because like I think you guys can like create a story, right? Like before, and like I learned this from the Thursday group and from like the early sessions with you guys, which is like I have this story and I have these beats that I'm gonna fucking hit,
and we're gonna ignore them all.
And then like, but then the story reveals itself through that, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of fun because like through your like I remember like one of the very first episodes, like Okot and Burke bickered about Evangeline like getting them through something, and then Okot just walks east. She just keeps walking east, and I was like, okay, how is this gonna resolve? And she's like, I'm still going, and Burke's like, yeah, good, keep going.
Have fun walking, idiot.
Yeah.
Well, and like the thing I loved about that scene so much is that everyone else in the group had no idea who this voice was. They're just like, she seems to be helping out. And Okot, for no reason at all, is like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah. And that's like one of my favorite things. Okay, so here's a good question, and this one's actually directed at me. For Elliot, have the players taken a storyline in a direction you really didn't expect? I mean, like that.
Which time?
Yeah. I will say, like, there have been like 2 moments that have caught me the most off guard.
Foreshadows.
Yes, that's made me the most angry in a like severe human way. But the 2 that I'm thinking of in particular was, I was just thinking about this. There's that moment in the Von Terre Manor where it's Gus, Burke, Okot, and they're in the tombs, in the catacombs, and they see Harver, and they see the people from the archdiocese, and they see a sleeping form, and they are taking the form away. And I was like, okay, this is a good like introduction. She'll now know that Harver's part of it, and she'll try to secretly undermine it. And I think Jorix was just like trying to play it cool above ground, you know. And
wait, you thought Okot was a rogue?
And then Sadie turns to the 2 other players.
Oh,
She turns
right.
to Parker and Ryan, and she goes, "Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure." And then she fucking wings a goddamn dagger at Harver. And I was like, Sadie, Okot is so underleveled for this fight. Everybody's underleveled for this fight. And Harver gets like, I think he gets winged by it, and he turns and he sees you, and you're like, "What's up, bitch?" And he's like, "All right, I guess I'm gonna have to like kill everybody now." And I was thinking like, because he's not going to stop. He's going to kill everyone.
No, Chris was there with us because Jorix is the only one without dark vision.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Of course. How could I forget?
So we had to hold hands.
Yeah, and then didn't you guys like put him in front of a wall? I'm like, just go forward. And then he'd smack his head into the wall.
I think he was like talking to a wall.
Yeah.
Jerks.
But like I remember like this was a real inflection point because I was like, she started a fight that like you guys can't fucking win. Like I know this. Like Parker even mentioned like Elliot has two versions of fights: winnable fights and then non-winnable fights. Like you aren't supposed to win this one. And it was just like, I guess I'm gonna have to kill Okot real quick. And then Parker had this great moment where I hit her with like the arrows and she gets fucking wrecked. And then Parker's like, what did you cast on?
It's like a paladin divinity thing.
Oh, yeah, it's the half, like
Yeah.
he takes half the damage he
Yeah.
dealt. Yeah.
Yeah, and he dealt. I'd rolled real good on that roll, and I was like, "Fuck, this guy got hit real bad." And then all of a sudden, Ryan's like, "I take out
Take out the mirror.
I take out the mirror, and I'm gonna position myself so I can look at him, and then I'm gonna reach in and grab him." I'm like, "What?" So like the main bad guy of the arc all of a sudden gets miniaturized.
And fucking own.
Yeah, he gets nerfed. He gets nerfed real quick, and I'm like, "Fuck." And like I'm just like trying to think of this on the fly. I'm like, okay, main villain down. Fuck, what do I do from here? And so like I just remember like, and I tried to like play it cool the entire time, but inside I was just like, oh shit. And the other time was like Sadie did mention it earlier, and this is a Parker play, and I love you, Parker. I'm also at times I get just irrationally angry, which is I had built this whole narrative so you could discover the secret of the gnomes, the Stand family. And I have this thing called foreshadows. Like it's foreshadowing. You notice how clever it is. And then
I noticed it at the time.
yeah.
I said something.
Yeah, see something, say something. And then Parker, fucking Gus, just walks in, and he asks like, what's the fucking statue? And I was like, oh, it looks like a mischievous gnome. It's like, does it look like Farsight? I was like, yeah, that's who you'd think it is. And he just says out loud, oh, he's the greatest adventurer in the world. And I was like, well, that's the answer to this elaborate riddle I came up with. Well, do I give it to him? But like I was thinking that, but I was so irate. Like I just said tersely, I was like, God damn it. Do you say that out loud, Parker? And then he's like kind of like,
Of course I do.
yeah.
If he was playing any other character, he probably wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would think better of it because, like, there are times when I give you guys warnings, like, are you sure that you want to stab that, Sadie? Or Okot?
Okot, remember you're a rogue.
Yes.
Remember what that means.
Yeah, but like, and then I ask Gus through gritted teeth, or I ask Parker through gritted teeth, and Gus like, yeah. And I was like, God damn it! And then like this whole thing that was supposed to be an episode of you working your brains, the fucking through the mouth of babes, you figure it out. Like that's why we had the reaction with Farstand in there, right? It's like, how'd you get through the?
That's like the only time Farstand's been flustered ever in his life.
How'd you guys get through the whole thing?
And it's by like the one guy that doesn't have anything against him.
It's like you built this amazing, elaborate Rube Goldberg, but you happened to put the start right next to the end.
Yeah.
And Gus came in and just bumped the marble the wrong way.
That's the
Got
perfect.
it right in the basket.
Yeah, that is the perfect analogy. And I just remember, like, and Sadie did a really good job editing that because, like, you just heard me, like, I think I yelled out, like, God damn it!
I think you said, "Fuck you, nerds."
Yeah, I'm gonna go
I hate
smoke.
this fucking game. I'm going for a smoke.
Definitely there's
both.
bucks.
Yeah, I did.
And
Did
fade
you
out.
have to, from time to time, I've seen you have to be like take a cigarette break after something like that, where you're just like, all right, we're taking 5.
Yes. Oh, you did notice that.
I have to smoke a cigarette and figure out what to do now.
Yes, that's actually through the magic of editing. You don't hear that, but there will be times when we're all together, and then these guys just trompe le monde around the fucking world, and I'm like, okay. Looking at the notes here, that's you guys went real far.
I think it's fun because you let us do something pretty wild, but then you're pretty good at like curbing it, like, realizing that I'm gonna me realizing the power of that mirror and what I can like make anything small. You're just like, okay, it starts to crack every time you use it, so like clearly I can only use it so many times, which is great.
Yeah.
And then when I pulled that guy through, you're like, he's you can't just crush him because he's small. he's just weaker, and he'll get bigger in like a couple rounds.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, aha, got you, check me.
Yeah, where's
Squish
Evangeline?
you.
Let me look through the mirror.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You can't do that.
She pulls you through the mirror.
Yeah. Well,
Don't use that with Evangeline.
no, shut up.
This is Chris yelling to Bert.
I got to take a note here.
I feel like my favorite part of that whole thing was that Ryan thinks of the mirror, Burke pulls him through, and then it's like we're a dog that caught a car we've been chasing, and we're like, oh God, we got it. What do we do now? What do we do with this? How do we... Didn't think this far ahead. What are we going to do with it? Smash it? We can't smash it. I don't know. Put it under a rock? Okay. And then we're like, hey, Castile, we killed your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the rest of your family? Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, here's another question for everybody. Have you felt limited by your character's race/class? Like, for example, has there been a moment when you wanted to make an action but didn't because it was against type?
You mean like everything Okot does ever? Yes. I should not have made her a rogue.
Man,
I really shouldn't.
As a rogue player, sometimes I'm just taking an L on when she's like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm like, that's not roguish. But I respect you as a human being to do that. But like, don't forget, like, I'll feed her lines like, don't forget, you do the most damage when the big boys hit up front. You're not the hitter. You just stay back and throw from a distance. You have cool daggers. Plus you get sneak attack. It's awesome.
I know, but it's just so frustrating to like stand in the back and dance.
Is it?
It is. It really is. Well, and I think actually this is kind of appropriate for Okot as a character. And like, it's going to sound like I'm justifying, but bear with me here. Like, Okot was raised by Evangeline, and Evangeline is the one that forced her into the rogue archetype. Like, Evangeline is the one that taught her how to sneak and be a rogue and be sneaky and do sneaky things. I'm saying sneaky a lot. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's who Okot is. You know? Like...
Yeah.
And now that she's sort of discovering herself like away from Evangeline and she's starting to figure out who she is as her own person, maybe it's time to make that into an in-game mechanical thing and start transitioning her out of the rogue class.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about that, but
yeah.
There is an in-game justification for it, but really it's just that Sadie doesn't do rogues good.
Yeah, that was interesting because I played with Sadie in a couple of other games, and like Sadie always goes for like, I see things, I punch things, and then she's like, I have this idea for a rogue. I'm like,
okay,
I can see how that works. They're melee class, that works. But then no, she still sees things and stabs things. I'm like, all right, that's good. That's good.
I'm a Magnus at heart.
Yeah, you really are. How about the rest of you guys?
You know, it'd be different if you stab the thing and then jump back.
I do forget to do that. That's fair.
Yeah, you just say it, yeah.
I think we figured
Move
it
around
out,
a
guys.
little.
Serpentine.
Jump into the wall of fire. Okay.
That was one of my favorite moments, though. That was one of my most successful role-playing moments, even though I immediately got shamed.
Yeah, like, I remember, like, and I was very strongly trying to dissuade you from it.
Yep. I'm like, that's what my character would do, for real, though.
And I was like, I could kill her right now if I rolled too good. Thankfully, you survived it. But then, like, Evangeline, you come like an avenging, burning angel.
So that visual was just...
And then, like... And I can just like imagine Evangeline like, stab.
I'm too low level.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Actually, you guys change a major plan that I had,
Oh.
which was I was going to kill Zhao in the very first arc. She was super dead. And then you guys saved her. And I was like, got to figure out this character
Oh,
now.
wow.
I
That's
saved him.
huge.
You tried killing her in the time arc too.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
And then you guys had this hype moment where everybody worked together to save her. I'm like, man, you guys just won't let her die.
I played a couple campaigns with you, Elliot. You keep trying to kill beloved NPCs.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
You got Hina already. We're not letting
Yeah.
you take Zhao, too.
Yeah. I feel like if I tried to kill Farstand, you guys were like, I'm fair. This feels spiritually right.
I'm not sure if anything can kill Farstand.
This is true.
And if it can, I'm not sure we're powerful enough to stop it.
I feel like only Farstand can defeat Farstand.
That's how it'll go.
Well, that's an interesting plot point.
Yep. Season 9. So yeah, anything, have you guys ever felt limited by your characters in class? Or like you I know that Parker brought up like he plays, he has to like, this is a smarter thing for Parker to do, but is it a Gus thing to do?
Yeah, but that's not necessarily like because he's a dwarf or a paladin. It's
This is
just
fair.
Yeah.
Gus.
I will say with Gus, most of it came out in character creation more than anything else. I will also say, though, that having Burke by his side kind of allows him to stray from, like, the rigidness of Paladin stuff, because he's also dumb, so he just kind of consults Burke on stuff, and then Burke just tells him what he wants Gus to do rather than what Gus is necessarily looking for.
Burke is
Like
like an
he
enabling
convinced-
Jiminy Cricket.
Like, Gus was originally very adamant about, like, never lying until, like, Burke convinced him that, like, some lies are tactics and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I'm just being tactical.
Yeah, it's like being a spy in World War II. It's noble and important. You gotta lie and pretend you know you're German. Like yeah, it's I don't know. I don't really think that much about the Burke as, you know. Sometimes I do when things come up that clearly would be like, oh, that'd be funny if he had some sort of attitude about that because he's a dwarf.
Oh my god, I love that.
His mistrust of tall people.
Yeah.
Like he just thinks they're shifty eyed.
Yeah, that's just funny. I think that I always think of it's do you remember see A Hard Day's Night?
Oh, yes, of course.
That Beatles movie.
Yep.
And there's the two guys that are playing like their manager or road manager, and one of them's tall, or the other guy, and he just goes, "Stop being taller than me." He's like, I can't help it. Because I can't. Yeah, and I think about. Maybe I think about that. It's just yeah. So I feel blessed by the dwarf characteristics, but I also think that he's sort of not a typical dwarf. I think I intentionally.
Yeah, he hates enclosed
like-
spaces.
Yeah, he doesn't like enclosed spaces, and he doesn't really dig being in the mountain. He does enjoy stonework and kind of looking at that a lot with Gus. I feel like it's like when you see like sports scores, like Sports Center's on. You know, when some good stonework shows up, it's like
That's
walking.
a
It's
perfect
like
analogy.
yeah, it's like you walk past a bar where Sports Center's showing the top 10 plays. You're like, hey, look at this archway. Yeah, but there's other times where I've made him sort of different than a dwarf. So I think it's always been fun thing to kind of play with, but then I also don't think about too much. I don't really know what motivates him. Curiosity, I think, and stuff like that. And he's a kind of a good person.
Yeah.
But yeah, which I kind of think fits the fighter class.
Yeah.
And just during a fight, I don't know what else to do than just whack at the person.
Yeah, like that's one of my favorite.
Hope I'm still standing at the end.
Well, that was one of my favorite moments. Is like when the Painting Clan came to take Namla. Like, just Burke was the only one who ran up the stairs to like fight the giant painted monster,
yeah.
and he just gets like,
Oh yeah.
he gets fucking squished, and he was like, anybody help me here? And like ever since then,
Do we
he's like,
have a healer in the party? Yeah, there's a guy for that. We do have a guy for that. Is he on break? Is he back in 5? What's going on?
It's union break, man.
Yeah, I figured.
Healers matter, okay?
and so like,
Yeah, those are fun because they're like moments where that's not what I would do. No, I don't know. The heroic, maybe it is what I would do. I don't know. But like, I wasn't, I didn't plan on making Burke, particularly heroic. But you're just like, well, this makes sense that I would just go run up there. And yeah,
Right.
it's fun when you.
oh yeah,
It's fun when you're surprised by like, look, I have a moment to be heroic. That's kind of fun.
and actually, that's a great moment between like Sylvester and Burke, which was like Sylvester was trying to peep on out of there, the fight with Evangeline and Raz, and like Burke was like fighting with. He abandoned Jorix to get ganked to capture Sylvester from running away. He's like, you can't leave the fight. He's like, we can both leave. We have a clear shot. He's like, no, we have to fight here with all the people who are dying.
I forgot about that. Oh man.
But we could just go.
No, we can't. You just have this noble intent as like you leave Jorix to fend off squishy, thin Jorix just gets ganked by like invisible fighters.
So great.
Yeah, he'll be fine in a minute. He'll be fine for a minute. You can't just desert in the middle of the fight. That's not.
Anything that you've been limited to by Chris?
Definitely. I mean, just the fact, like, I made a character who was deliberately a little, he was an orphan from birth, put at an orphanage, that had very close connections to a church. So basically he was, indoctrinated to, religion stuff. So very sheltered. Then all of a sudden this big event happens. He's got to leave his hometown. And I definitely wish, like, at the start he wasn't as much of, like, a stick in the mud as he was. Because, you got to play the straight man as a straight man.
Yeah.
But I think
you do it wonderfully.
Thank you so much. But I think it's been very fortunate to have Castile as a character, because then it fits into Jorx's like character growth so well. Not seeing anyone for like 20 some odd years outside of just these holy people, and then the first holy person he sees out in the world is Castile.
He's a cool cleric.
Yeah, he's definitely
Got drunk with Okot.
Oh man,
Probably
that's
smoked
so
a cigarette behind the temple.
Yeah.
He's that dude.
yeah. So I mean, since Jorx has been introduced to Castile, like the sassiness levels have definitely gone up.
that is one of my favorite relationships is the Jorix Castile relationship, and just like you guys played off it really well, because like for some reason Castile just always likes to push Jorix through a portal. He's like, hey, what's that? What? Push. And you always play along with it, and I really appreciate that. Okay, we're coming up to our last 3 questions, so before I ask these, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask each other or me?
I have one for Chris. I don't think, has it come up that Dwarf knows Jorix is an orphan?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
I don't know if that's come up or not.
I don't think it
I
has.
don't think it has.
Oh shit.
Dang.
So
Plot point.
I remember he found out Okot was, and I think he gave her a statue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That was such a great moment too. I really wasn't expecting that. I had no idea where you were going with it. That was hilarious.
Yeah. So we'll have to resolve that at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think of any questions. Did you guys? Was that homework I was supposed to do?
No,
Shit.
no. None of
Ryan,
us
how
did.
close are you to opening a Burke themed restaurant?
Ooh, that would be good.
That would be good.
Maybe I can make them just like a mock-up a menu for fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Once I collect enough recipes. I don't have that. I only have a few recipes. Need to get some more.
Oh yeah. Well, and I was supposed to.
I forget.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
I was supposed to direct you to the Swenyan Library, I think, for more recipe books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll have to.
Gotta remember that.
There's another plot point we'll have to resolve.
Yes, one day we're gonna get lunar ale.
Yeah.
Brewed. Yeah. Once I get into home brewing.
So no questions.
I like the idea the idea of I think Burke being into cooking and having a little. Well, I mean, it's kind of based on thinking it was funny to I've watched a lot of food shows, not even that many, and I myself have worked in kitchens and stuff for a lot of years, but there's this movie called The Rundown. It's like directed by I can't remember the guy. The guy did like Battleship, and it's The Rock and like Sean William Scott, and they're like in the jungle, and like Rosario Dawson's in it, and Christopher Walken's in it, and the Rock plays this like security like mercenary guy, but who secretly wants to have a restaurant and has a little tiny recipe book that he's always like drawing in, and like doesn't want anyone to know because he's like a big tough guy.
That's
Who
awesome.
like he's like, that's my secret, like, no, that's my little book of like recipes, and he's got like his whole menu like worked out and stuff. So that's the secret kind of inspiration for
Nice.
Burke being like a warrior restaurateur with like plans to open a restaurant someday. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
nice.
It's definitely a great little character detail.
Yeah.
The Rundown on DVD is
Actually-
Sean William Scott. Very good movie.
Actually, that's a
Very
really
good
good question that I think I want to ask all of you guys. Like, what was the inspiration for your characters?
Damn it, I was going to ask that.
Got there first.
Chris.
movie. That mine
Why
was The
me?
Rundown.
Guess Ryan already went. I don't know.
I also like I knew a guy named Burke who was kind of short. Not like a dwarf short, but he was just a, but like also looked like you would cast him. He would play a good dwarf in like a fantasy movie. I think.
Nice.
Very nice guy, very sweet guy. So I think there's a little bit of that guy that I worked with like 20 years ago in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And just the idea of having like a dwarf who doesn't want to live in the mountain and is like maybe like likes water because the dwarves typically don't. So like an outsider dwarf.
Yeah, bit of a
guy.
contrarian.
Yeah. Tough guy, but he's a little fragile. Not that tough, but he's a fighter. Just because I picked fighter, just because I knew that would be the easiest class to play.
Yeah.
It's like the least complicated.
Yeah, that's fair. It fits really well for Burke, though, I think, because he does kind of have this tough exterior with a gooey caramel center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go now. You give me the look, Sadie.
I'm just trying to encourage a dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, whenever like I come up with a character, it's normally I won't start with a character in mind. I'll normally start with like, okay, this is the class that I want to try out.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I know I've said this like a million times already, but like I really love story. So I go really hard in on the lore, and Elliot has been fantastic about like just letting me come up with my own shit. And it's a lot too. Like Elliot can I've sent him like Google Docs of like 5 pages of like various background and lore about it. And then I was like, okay. And I'll just effortlessly just weave all that into my narrative. And he does such a good job with it.
He really does.
Yeah. I mean, the whole like Moonless Night portion came from my background. And then Elliot just managed to weave that in perfectly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, Chris has made some really, really great contributions to the entire narrative. which has been really cool. It's like, well, I never considered that, because like that's the fun thing about role-playing games, right? It's like it's a collaborative storytelling method. So like, yeah, sure, like I may like set up pieces, but like you guys get to make your own story, you know.
Well, the great thing about being a DM is you get to steal ideas from all of us and pass them off as your own.
Yeah.
No shame.
Yeah, never.
But it has to come from you because you're the world and its problems, right? So like I remember when I was creating OCOT, I kind of did the same thing you did, Chris, and I started off with a backstory, and I was like, okay, given like the page or two of description that Elliot's given me about this world that I've never heard of before, because I'm the only one in this group that hasn't played in any of the other
that's true.
role-playing games. So I was kind of coming into it new, into this world that clearly already had a history and had been built out, and I'm trying to like learn it at the same time that my character is supposed to have been in it her whole life.
Yeah.
And so I think after reading through the description of the nations, like the part that really kind of grabbed me was that tieflings were considered a slave class in certain areas. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting to play a character that came from one of those like slave class slums, but was, purchased by a very well-to-do person and has been raised as, sort of this weird middle ground between slave and daughter. Like, what would that look like? And I think I bounced that off of you, Elliot, over Facebook, and you were like, I have just the thing. In fact, she's one of the main bad guys.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to like build that in. But the downside of like having a collaborative world is that the name of the slum is Maladra. I think it's a beautiful name, and it has Mal in it, which means bad, right?
That's not the real name, though, Elliot.
Shut up, Chris. And there was this one kid from another group, actually Chris's group, and I like gave him some like naming rights. I was like, okay, sure, okay, here's Maladra. This is where you come from. It's a slum. What do you think they would call it? And he goes, Helltown. I'm like,
Fuck.
Really? That's what you guys would just come up with, huh? Just Helltown?
There are times when first thought is best thought. This was not it.
But no, and I think like there's this really great narrative with Okat's character that she can play with because she has Zhao as kind of a model of like, this is like the type of person that I bet she wishes that she had grown up with, like this very kind and patient person who always has her back, right?
Yeah.
And then she has like this very powerful and domineering woman who is a big mover and shaker in the world. But man, was she shitty at being a mom and instilling with good values that made you feel secure. So
yeah, exactly. Well, and I think one of the really interesting things for me in playing Okot with regards to Evangeline is hearing all these stories from Gaia and Zhao and people who knew her before about how she actually used to be a good person. And like, I feel like Okot struggles to square that circle.
Yeah.
And, and I think that is a very real thing, especially with people who come from neglectful or abusive families where like, there are people who know your abuser that think they're great people or used to be great people or, could be great people again, and trying to like rectify your experience of that with their experience of this same person there's a lot of tension there.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And actually you can thank Chris for the whammies that happened with Evangeline's brain.
Oh yeah. The Springs of Dolphin. That was you.
You? Yeah,
that was you.
I'm gonna hide under the table now. It's been great, guys.
I mean, hey, it was the Springs of Dolphin that originally saved Zhao, so
there we go. You know, I'm batting 50. Good old 500.
How about you, Parker?
In my case, since it's gonna be like the first time I was playing D&D, I'd want to have like a pretty open character who just kind of go with the flow more or less, so I could get a feel for the game, and then kind of just built it from that idea, and then just from like the class and race that sounded most appealing. And I also want to be just like a more simpleton idiot. Give myself a break from myself.
That's one of the things I think about a lot, Parker, is like it takes somebody really smart to play someone that stupid.
Yeah, that's incredibly true.
Yes, it's very calculated. You have to know. You have to know the right answers to give all the wrong.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. And the way you do it is just so good.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are getting to the last three questions. We'll go with this one.
So you're killing 3 of us off. This is Survivor style.
Oh God.
Perfect.
Who wins $1 million?
Perfect segue, my friend.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
What would be inscribed on your character's tombstone?
2 middle fingers.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Got it.
Next question.
Got it.
Actually, my tombstone would just be 2 middle fingers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Can we do like magic stuff with our tombstone?
Sure.
I would just love Jorx's to be a what do they call those moving picture, not videos obviously, but the moving pictures that's like one, like it's essentially like a GIF where it's static and it'll like reset.
Oh, right.
There's like
Yeah.
a term, like a diorama. There's like a term,
Right,
something
right.
like that. But one of those of being like the sun and the moon and actually being like lit up.
Oh.
So like during the day, like you'll see the sun rising on his tombstone, and then it will set, and the moon one will come up.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's
that would
awesome.
be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be fucking great. I'll note that.
Oh no.
And so Jorx died.
How about you? How about you, Ryan?
Bert can never die.
That's what's written on his
Yeah,
tombstone.
this is a trap question.
It will forever say like the year of his birth and then just a dash. It will never be filled in.
To be continued.
He becomes one with the greater powers.
Our stand.
Like he leaves his body. They don't. You know how they say when like a guru passes away, he's like a yoga guy, and they don't want to admit that it was like just a dude who actually he left his physical body at some point. At some point during the night, he left his physical body
He
and
ascended.
transcended. Yeah. So it's like one of those deals.
I imagine
He's
that's
not-
gonna happen to Burke after he's tasted like the perfect dish. And he will just
He
transcend
just, like-
his mortal form.
He just floats away like the Buster Scruggs guy.
Yes.
Just into the little angel wings.
Singing a little song.
Just like, oh, just so good.
floating to heaven on those stink lines.
Just floating. Yeah.
And Parker, how about
I
Gus?
declare the best bite I ever had.
The bot that done me in.
And Parker, how about for
He
Gus?
choked on that steak. Sorry.
No worries.
Well, that's good.
I'm done now.
For Gus, if it's not an untimely death, he'd carve a statue of himself.
Aw.
Wait.
Well, like, cause he has his mini figures, but he'd do
That makes sense.
he'd do like a full-on one, and then he'd just like inscribe it with all of his titles he had that day.
I want to see Gus get into ice sculpting. I think he would like that.
I feel like that would be very frustrating for him.
Yeah, I could see him giving up right away and just be like, "Oh, stone's better," just blaming it on ice and not himself.
He'd reach into his pocket to hand one to a child and just draw out a wet hand.
Put her there.
Okay, that's perfect. Let's see. There's one that I forgot to get to earlier. So
Bonus
Scott,
round.
Scott Link asks, any plans for new items in Fantasy Sam's Club? Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for that question. And yes, I know that I've been rather negligent with that, but we haven't been to Fantasy Sam's Club in a bit.
It's been a cold minute.
Yeah. Yes.
It's been a lukewarm minute.
Exactly.
All right. So these are the last two questions. I'll go with this one first. what moment in the campaign made you laugh the hardest?
Ooh.
Oh man.
I think for me it was the Gus solving the far stand puzzle.
Oh
Like,
my
I know
goodness.
that came at your expense, Elliot, and I'm so sorry.
No,
but
it's like the fun. It's
God,
one of the
that
funniest
was
moments.
just beautiful.
Yeah, and I think your reaction to the whole event, Elliot, is sort of what
Really sold it.
Yeah. And then like you were mentioning earlier, the far stand follow up after the fact, like, huh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think he just like. I think I said like he just trails. He floats away, befuddled. Right?
Yeah.
I can't believe you just figured that out. It's such a weird thing that you just did.
Yeah, no, that was great. I think that's definitely my highlight.
Oh.
But to add another one, when Parker, when you pulled out the Thor's lightning being static electricity,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
That was really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
such a great moment. Just-
How about that time when I suggested that the ground should dodge Chris's
Oh my god!
and then you rolled a natural 20? Because that's one of the intro clips too. Because I
know.
can't. Oh God, that was.
And I think I showed you the die, right? I
Yes.
was like, there it is.
Yeah.
I rolled a natural 20.
20.
It's impossible.
Fuck you, nerds. The ground dodges. The ground fucking dodges.
This is Jork's life.
Yeah, it's a toss up for me between those two.
I'll say one that I always like. I always like laugh about, and it's like such a perfect emblem. It's so perfectly emblematic of Burke, which is Dravine. He has to put on a show for Dravine, and she asks, "Oh, are you gonna do some commedia dell'arte?" And the way that Ryan answers, he goes, "Am I?" And it's like when he says it, it's like Burke isn't sure if he's going to do it as he's doing it. Like
Oh, I always read that moment as more like, "Oh, am I?" Like, just you wait.
I always read it as like I always read it as he was like uncertain, and then he just began. Like he was like mid tumble, and he's like, "Am I gonna do this? I guess so." But that always makes me laugh. And the other one is like a really recent one, and I actually the static electricity between Jorix and Gustus. I love that.
Is that Thor too? A little bit.
Yeah. And the other one that always makes me laugh is just like what a little shit Okot can be when she was talking to Lifter, and Lifter like survived being turned inside out like 100,000 times, and he just has that moment where he's just like, well, it was a rather difficult time that we had. And then, oh, we didn't.
Yeah, ours was pretty easy.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, glad to hear it. Like, just sad.
And you didn't drop the bit at all. Like you kept this going for like a minute.
Yeah. Like just this poor guy who came because he got a job and he wanted to help a kid, and he just goes through hell by himself. And then she's just so guileless, and she just like, yeah, it was super simple. It's like,
Why did none of the rest of us go with Lifter? I forgot.
the reason why is I think he thought it would be best if you guys went that way while he just
Oh yeah, he was going after Castile,
Yeah.
right? And we were going after Nala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he thought it would be easier if he just went alone, so he didn't have anybody to because he traveled alone.
He
He's
didn't
a
want
lone
to
wolf.
split the party.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like, well, now I have to. And plus, I think it would have been funnier. I think it worked out narratively well because then I think like Castile shows up and you guys just have a good reunion as like Lifter is like on the ground just panting,
Suffering.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
just like trying to get through it.
Like he's still not recovered. It's been months.
Yeah, like I think like the last we left him, he was like asleep on the steps
Yep.
of Mulhound.
He's been in like a sleep paralysis.
Yeah, his body's still trying to recover to this day. Okay, now we're gonna go to this email that I actually got today, and this email is from Jason Williams.
Hang on, did we get
Oh shit, sorry.
favorite moments from Parker and Ryan?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you didn't, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, how can you choose? This podcast has such good re-listen value. Just go through it again, relive all of them.
I can't focus on any of them. I don't know which ones made me like laugh the hardest. Definitely images that some of it I don't remember. Some of it,
That's fair.
stuff that sticks out is early like using Peter the spider as a sort of like some sort of living sight to like aim better,
That was
to
great.
where he's like
God.
holding his arms up, and then definitely Parker like stopping to like sketch out like what that would look like. I don't know if I'm making that up.
No,
but maybe I'm making that up.
I do remember that because
Yeah.
yeah,
It was because I was missing spells all day. So
Yeah,
then,
and Elliot was so confused. He's like, "Explain to me how your spider helps Jorik's
holding-
cast better."
He's holding its little arms up, like shoot here.
that's another great Peter moment with Okot.
Oh my god, yes.
Where he
like
gets
air traffic controller.
yeah, he keeps on trying to direct her
Yeah.
to hit, and Sadie couldn't
That's what
roll
I'm
to
thinking
save her
of,
life.
Oh my god.
And
Oh,
like
God.
he just kept on like come on, like he just kept pointing, like giving
right
you advantage.
Here,
Yeah,
stab here. Like over there.
I'm highly trained. That's a good one.
I'm a death machine.
Yeah, like a fun Burke moment, whatever, like Top Chef thing. I made food when
Oh
when we were at that racist's house, and I spent some time in the kitchen.
yes.
And then
Oni introducing the dish. That was so incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
That was
was great.
so
Very
good.
fun. Very fun
Like
to do.
swamp water creme brulee, something to that effect.
Swamp wood.
Swamp wood.
Swamp wood smoked creme brulee.
Swampwood, yeah. Smoked. So you just get this, just so you feel like you're in a swamp that's on fire.
Didn't you say like it'll knock your dick in the dirt?
Yes. Knock your
Yeah, that's
cock in the
definitely
dirt.
something a brash chef would say.
Oh man.
And you just
Totally
got so loud. It'll knock your dick in the dirt.
Braised local greens.
Burke has always been a showman.
Oh god.
Yes, I do love cooking shows. It's fun to tap into that.
You should do that more. That's so good.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, those were a couple.
But you, Parker?
Funny.
Like I was honest with like no specific one sits out. But I will say when like Burke is in the groove or whatever, like perfectly in character, it's always a fun time.
That is
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to hear is like the quiet Parker laughs as he's like trying to stifle it, but he's like having such a good time like watching Burke be Burke.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go to an email that I actually just got today, and it's from Jason Williams, and he says, "I work in the pest control industry, so I drive a lot of the day. I stumbled across your podcast this last Tuesday, and now I am hooked. Already on episode 18. Y'all
Oh,
are
wow.
fucking hilarious. Thank you for all that you do." From Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, just wanted to share that with everybody, and if you,
He's gonna hear this like 3 months from now.
yeah,
I don't know. He's binging at a pretty good pace.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
yeah,
If he's
it's pretty
already on
good.
episode 18,
Yeah.
so that's Von
Yeah.
Terre Manor, right?
As long as we
Or
don't
is that-
lose him.
Yeah,
or is
no,
that
that's-
after Von Terre?
that's I think Von Terre is like episode 9 is when it starts. That
Yeah,
arc.
but does it close around? It closes like in the late teens,
Yeah, I
early
think
20s.
so, yeah.
That's one of my favorite arcs that we ever did.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a fun one.
Okay, and this is the final question. I'd save the hardest for last.
Oh boy.
What's been your favorite moment of the campaign? Wait, no, that's not the right question. How great of a DM am I? Kidding.
Yeah,
No,
so
what,
good.
So
girl.
girl.
What's been your favorite moment of the campaign?
I think for me, it's a fairly recent one. It was when Okot finally got to spend time with Namla, and she took that hike up the mountain with Zhao, and then just sat there watching the sunset. Like, that to me felt like something I had been working toward since we started playing.
Yeah, I really loved that moment. It was just this one, this life marred by consistent strife. there is this one moment where she is safe, secure, and with people who love her unquestionably.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of my favorite moments too.
Really hard to beat that one. Why you, you picked the best one.
But I mean, it'd been like 50 episodes of like, are we ever gonna find this girl, or is she like the eternal bee quest?
Yeah, side quest, Jorix. Ugh.
Never live that one down.
Yeah, I think when I ran up and I got champed by whatever that big
Yeah,
light spectral lion.
yeah,
Yeah,
Good hero moment.
that was
fun.
and it was the way that Elliot described the scene afterwards, where you're like curled up in a ball, and there's a space in your arms where once Namla was. Like, there was something really touching about that scene.
yeah. Like he ducked down so that he would take all of the blow while protecting her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That one's
Tried.
still tugging on my heartstrings.
Ooh, we all got blue jeans. That was a good day.
Yeah,
That was a great day.
that was a good day.
Anytime we get to do some wrestling back here.
Oh god, the
Ooh,
wrestling
it's always
episode was
pretty good.
so fun.
That was amazing.
That was super fun. Like you and me in the ring, Jorix, Chris, Jorix.
I have merged. I am now
Yeah.
one entity.
But yeah, that was just
Oh yeah.
being the heel to your good guy was so fun.
Especially because it was so like if there was ever an unscripted moment.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this whole thing's unscripted pretty much. But
Yeah.
you know, we basically went from oh yeah, I guess we don't get to perform to
It's
going
like,
to oh
fuck that, we're gonna perform.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that was and the main event too with Burke and Gus was so great.
Yeah.
So great.
Parker, what's your best moment?
Oh.
No,
I guess among them would be just when the prismatic queen's power basically shattered Gus's perspective on life.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty epic moment.
Like, oh, I can't do that. I can't be king.
Oh.
But
I
it
love that
wasn't
Burke
like
was-
it wasn't a sadness thing to him. It's more just like a, wow, those
oh,
people
hang on.
misjudged me. Because he was more like driven to be king, like as a response rather than like
An internal desire.
a passion. Well, like a passion
Yeah.
that came from a response. He's a very reactive person.
Yeah, that was I think that's that's up in my like top 5 favorite moments as well.
What was it when Gus gave like he was like off with Jorix and he gave like a motivational speech
When we
He's
stopped
just
the
like-
war, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Fast-
yeah.
where you just fast forwarded to the end of it or whatever.
Yeah, I start to worry that joke's gonna get old, but
I
then
love
I
that
realize
joke.
that I don't care
Yeah.
because I love it.
It's good. Oh, yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, for me, it's probably a toss-up between that moment when we finally had Namla safe, because that felt like a very good, like, sort of conclusion on a long-running quest, essentially, that we were always trying to, it wasn't a side quest, but, like, it was never this is our sole objective here. There was always something else going on at the same time.
Yeah, there was always other factors pulling us away from that journey.
Yeah, and we haven't had a goal that stretched that long. That's the longest goal that we've had that's reached a conclusion. And whenever you have one of those long campaign goals that you hit, it
Yeah,
always feels very good.
Yeah,
Very
it's-
satisfying.
yeah.
It's a toss up with that one, and then Parker's moment with Gustus just shattering.
I will say, okay, so here are my picks. Of course, yeah, like all of the ones that you guys are mentioned, like those fills out my list. But I'm hitting ones that like haven't been mentioned. One of my favorite ones was again when you guys got Namla and you go through the Hall of Gods.
Oh yeah.
And we have that moment. I just remember like being able to like hit giving Jorix a little bit of hope or a little bit like of acknowledgement that his god Saloon hears him. You know, like I loved doing that, and I loved like having that moment where you guys like actually get to like, because no offense to me or the way that I tend to DM, but I tend to make things like kind of hard, and like there isn't like a da 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 da. It's like, well, that was a hard one. Draw, sweet, you know.
You are the master of Pyrrhic victories.
Yeah, it's like, boy, we lost a lot during that, but at least we got 50 gold doubloons, everybody. You know, that felt like an unequivocal win.
Yeah. Well, and you gave every character their own moment of like fulfillment.
Reassurance and fulfillment. And I wanted to, and then the other one was I still love this moment so much, and it was during the time arc, which is it leads off with he needs to kill Killian. Killian. Thank you. Keelan needs to kill Zhao. That's his whole aim, and so he takes her time, and she gets very desiccated very quickly, and then Jorix goes, Chris goes, I say undo. I'm like, sweet, that's nice, great for you.
That was me stretching super hard. Like, as soon as Keelan had done that, I was like looking through my spells, like, God damn it, none of these undo time control. Wait, Keelan can undo time control. I have a spell called Command, and I can only use one word for that.
Brilliant. That was so good.
And then it started this whole series that I still love, because it showed all of you, like, because, you know, you guys bicker and you fight sometimes, and you know, you guys are like a team of rivals at times, but like there's this moment where
oh, I forgot about that.
Where like it starts off with Jorix saving Zhao from like dying, you know, just aging to death, and he fucking unwinds her because he makes Keelan unwind her. I was like, son of a dick. And then all of a sudden, like everybody works in unison, and now rejuvenated Zhao. I think Parker puts his shield up so she can like bounce off of his shield, and then Burke does the same thing where he gives her his
springboards her.
Yeah,
and Okot tosses her dagger's hilts up so she can grab them as she's coming down
and just lay a devastating blow on Keelan. And I was like, I love that, because this is this couldn't have existed without you guys. This character was supposed to get wrecked this time, and then you guys all worked together to turn the tables on it. And I just love that, because everybody worked together to make this like really cool moment.
Yeah, that was an awesome moment.
Yeah,
I had totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, just I love I throw up both of my daggers, and she's like doing
a flip, fucking slow-mo.
Yeah. And so like I just love that, because it was just you got everybody working together, working on a common purpose, and like it was, again, Chris, I think, had used so many spells that I just kept on like rolling past. I'm like, I beat that one, I'm sorry. And so he's just like, God damn it. He just quietly persists until he has like the fucking play of the game where he's like, undo. I'm like, I don't give a shit. He's like, no, you have to undo it because I command you. I'm like, God damn it. It's the same thing with Parker and his like, you take half. I'm like, what? That's my thing. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
It's those moments when you guys like, I have all the cards, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking wreck you fucks.
Like, what about this ace though?
It's like,
does that get me anything?
I snuck in this Joker.
Is it good if I have 4 of them?
But those are my favorite moments, like when everybody works together and you make this epic moment where I'm just like, man, I couldn't have predicted that. And I love the fact that you guys all came up with that.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I am very thankful to be a part of this group and to play with you guys, because you guys are fucking, as we've shown over the last hour and a half, probably.
Close to 2.
Shit.
Yeah.
You guys are a great group to play with. You guys are fucking creative, intelligent, and you all work together really well. It is I get to be like the first fan, because I just get to watch the things that you do. I'm like, that's a really funny play. That's really good that you guessed my puzzle, Gus. It's so funny that you did. I love it. You know? But I do love it in retrospect. In the moment, I hate it, but it's just a fucking indelible moment, and that's all because of you guys, and you guys do a great job, and I'm glad to be here with you.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that as well, because I think when Elliot and I first came up with this idea, like, I didn't have a clue who I wanted to invite. And now looking back on it after the year plus that we've been doing this, like, I can't imagine any better people to play this game with. Like, you guys are all fucking great. And like, I've talked with Elliot about this before, but it's very, very special to me that it never comes up that I'm the only woman at the table. And I feel weird bringing it up now because now it's coming up. But like,
oh, it's true. You are. I hadn't thought of that.
Now that you mention it,
You just
Makes
blew
such
your
a big
cover.
deal.
no, but seriously, this I feel it's important and I need to say it. Like, there have been so many times in my life, even in role-playing games, where things happen, or, you know, the rest of the group does something that I'm just like, oh, right. Like, nobody thinks about me the same way they think about each other. And that never happens here. And that is a testament to how great all you guys are.
oh, I'm glad you feel so welcome.
Yeah, like I do. Like when actually, I think with Chris and his first session, like I always lay out my rules, which is like, we are not going to do anything about sexual assault. Don't make sexist jokes. I'm just not interested in that. That can be your personal fantasy. I don't give a shit, but it's not our collective fantasy. Like, that's always the ground rule that I put in.
Yeah, I mean, anytime if you are playing a role-playing game and you're making someone uncomfortable, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, the whole point of the game is to, you know, escape the boring life for a little bit, you know,
Exactly.
have some fun with your friends and
Yeah.
tell a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it. And also, I want to thank everybody who's listened. I have a list of the most downloaded country where our podcast is most downloaded. U.S. takes the lead because USA is number one, baby. And
Shut up. Oh my God.
USA.
Well, now I'm
we're the only
uncomfortable.
country that listens.
So the country that listens the highest
The
next.
way it should be.
I'm pretty sure the U.S. is the only thing in the world.
Oh my
Next
God.
is UK, so thank you. Surprisingly, the most downloads come from other English-speaking countries.
Weird.
Yeah, Canada is number 3.
Okay.
Our
Eh?
neighbors to the north aren't doing a great job. UK's beating them. The non-English-speaking country that has the most downloads, Poland.
Wow. Thank you, Poland.
Yeah,
Does anyone know how to say thank you in Polish?
I know in Russian.
They know our language. We don't know theirs. Come on.
Hold on.
They're smarter.
Yes. Yes, that's.
Fair.
We say it in the universal language of "We appreciate you, Poland," and we actually have.
Wait, how do you say it in Russian? I forget. It's,
It is spasiba.
Spasiba. That's right.
Where's Russia in our download count? Are they
8. We have 8 downloads from
Okay,
Russia.
okay.
Wow.
Down 0.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
I've loved you. I've loved your literature for so long. Russia.
They don't love you back.
I know.
The Russians
I know.
love this podcast too.
And we actually have 5 downloads from the United Arab Emirates.
Wow.
Yep. So
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't stick with it, but thanks for giving it a shot. But that is to say, like, thank you to everyone who listens to this show. We really do appreciate it when you reach out to us on Twitter at WYD
At
Pod,
WYD Pod,
or on Facebook at WYD Cast,
because Pod was already taken.
and or on email at wydpod.com.
at gmail.com.
You're so much better at that. I don't know why I always try it. We do always appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening and joining in on the adventure with us.
And for sticking around like 50 plus episodes.
Yeah.
Can you
holy
believe
crap.
it's been 50-ish?
That's crazy.
I can believe it.
I know.
Oh, yeah, you had added them all. Special. Speaking of, thank you, Sadie, for editing them
Yeah,
all.
special thanks to Sadie for just Jesus. I know I make some awful mouth sounds as I grind my teeth again when you guys do something.
I've actually never caught the teeth grinding.
Like, good. My dentist has.
But no, I really do enjoy it. It's fun to relive that episode 2 or 3 or 50 times and string it together into a story. And I enjoy making the music and putting together the little intro blurbs with my favorite quotes from the show. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And you guys make it fun.
But yeah, just thank you to everybody who listens, and thank you for everyone who participates. And I think with that will close our Q&A episode. It is delivered, a little bit late, but still delivered. Thank you
for
so
your
much.
patience.
There it is.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bam.
Wank. Wank?
Wank. All right.
Squish.